Okay, so breaking news in the world of the National Football League is Tom Brady decides to unretire and come back to Tampa Bay, come back to football, come back to being the National Football League's greatest villain that the game has ever known, as well as the greatest quarterback in NFL history. Thomas Take Sports Podcast is back as well. I'm Ryan Thomas. I went on a little bit of a hiatus, a little bit of a break as we inch closer and closer to NFL free agency. And it's no coincidence that not only is Tom Brady back, but Tom Brady announces that he is back on the eve of free agency. That is no coincidence. And I will talk about that in a little bit. But unwrapping the news that Tom Brady has returned, obviously, I'm not too shocked. I remember when Tom Brady retired, I was down in Tampa Bay, in Clearwater specifically, and I told the people of Tampa Bay, I told the people of Clearwater in the bars down there that Tom Brady would be back. He's not done. Legends never die. GOATs, players, the greatest of all time type players, they don't just go away with an Instagram post after throwing for more yards than anybody in the NFL, after throwing for more touchdowns than anybody in the NFL, and after shockingly losing the NFL Most Valuable Player Award once again to Aaron Rodgers. To me, Tom Brady was the NFL MVP this past season. And you look at Tampa Bay and how their season ended. Their season ended against the LA Rams, who en route went to the NFC Championship game, who en route went to the Super Bowl, going on to win the Super Bowl against the Cincinnati Bengals. So the NFC, it's very, very typical in football for a team to go to a Super Bowl and not win it, not go back-to-back the next year, I should say. So the Rams win it this year. Will they be able to put it together to win another one? I don't think so. It's very tough to do that, and the last team to do that were the Tom Brady-led New England Patriots back in the day. So Tom Brady looks at that team and he says, "Okay, I'm gonna take a look and really consider whether I'm done with football, whether football's done with me." You still have Chris Godwin, you still have Mike Evans, and yes, with the news that Tom Brady is coming back to Tampa Bay, I'd be stunned, flat out shocked that Rob Gronkowski as well could be coming back to Tampa Bay. Just makes all the sense in the world. So looking at the NFC hierarchy here, I think Tampa Bay is obviously one of the top three teams in the NFC now that Tom Brady is back. When Tom Brady went into his quote-unquote 40-day retirement, giving up football for Lent, essentially, looking at the quarterbacks in the market, Deshaun Watson, what does Houston want? What does Houston demand for a player of Deshaun Watson's caliber, I should say? What type of capital would be warranted in a trade for Deshaun Watson? What type of capital would be warranted in a trade for guys like Russell Wilson? That price was named and that price was agreed to by the Denver Broncos. So that the quarterback options for Tampa Bay dwindled quickly, and it's in large part due to the fact that, those options dwindled. Some players decided to go to other places, as well as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. They have a lot of salary cap problems. They have a lot of money tied up into particular players not named Tom Brady. It just put forth the franchise tag on wide receiver Chris Godwin, who is one of the best receivers in the game as it stands right now. And you wonder, what does this do to change the building process for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Because you have 20-plus free agents. Alex Kappa, offensive guard. Ryan Jensen, the center of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Those are two huge pieces, obviously, protecting Tom Brady in Tampa Bay these last couple seasons. And these last couple seasons for Tom in Tampa, 29 wins combined in 2 years, regular season, one Super Bowl appearance as well as victory, and playoffs in both seasons. So as long as that offense returns largely what it has been accustomed to these last few years, I don't see how Tom Brady isn't successful. Man keeps himself in immaculate shape. The question is whether or not Tampa can bring back the majority of the players that are on the defensive side of the football. That's the question. And I think we're going to get an answer to that very soon. And obviously, a player of Tom Brady's caliber deciding to return helps those players that were on the fence about coming back to Tampa come back to Tampa. So brilliantly by Tom Brady to kind of put this out there for as long as he did, leaving it in the speculation stratosphere, as I like to call it. It was only a matter of time, I thought, before Tom Brady said, you know what, I'm coming back. And let's be honest here. This is a statement that I will proudly state on the Thomas Take Sports podcast. And it's one that I will just echo on the show tonight, is that football needs TB12. As I said from the top, Tom Brady is not only the greatest quarterback in NFL history, but he's the greatest villain, because everybody loves to hate him or people love to love him. There's no in between with Tom Brady. With me, it's always been, I don't want to see him beat my Buffalo Bills twice a year when he was a member of the New England Patriots, but real recognizes real. The Buffalo Bills were a dumpster fire for the majority of that time, and the New England Patriots embodied the excellence that they did over the course of their dynasty, largely led by Tom Brady. So real recognizes real. Greatness is greatness. Legends are legends. Tom Brady is one of those. Of course, I think one of the best players to ever play the game of football, let alone the position known as the QB. So the quarterback. So real recognizes real. He's a legend. He's the greatest of all time. And I don't want to see the legend that is Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, go out knowing that he has anything left in the tank. I want to see Tom Brady play for as long as he is good and stop when he stinks. And that's what Tom Brady said, 10 years ago, that I'm going to retire when I absolutely suck. And that's how any legend should go out, face down, face down, butt up. You can say it. Just like Brett Favre, just like Joe Montana, just like Steve Young, just like Troy Aikman, just like Jim Kelly, down on the field, hurt, walking off the field, knowing that I gave it everything I had, knowing that I'm done. Now, I don't know if Tom Brady is going to go out quite like that, because it seems like Tom Brady is just, I don't know, it seems like he's got a horseshoe, alongside him at all times in his gym bag, or a rabbit foot in his cleat. I don't know. He's just a very blessed individual to have the career that he has had under the circumstances in which he has had it. So how could I say that Tom Brady is going to go out like that? I don't think he will, but I think Tom wants to leave no stone unturned in terms of continuing to play, continuing to succeed. And once he feels like he can't do that anymore, then he's done. Then it's over. Then there's no more. I'm in a 10-team dynasty league for fantasy football. And here this guy ends his season, Bryce Vandermast of Slowest Buffalo in the Herd, ends his season without Tom Brady coming back, thinking, I'm going to need a quarterback in this upcoming draft. Might have to take a rookie. And now he gets TB12 back. So dynasty football owners that own Tom Brady, that were thinking that they were done with him, one and done in the first year of your league or whatnot, whatever year it may be, you get another year of TB12. And anytime you have a player of Tom Brady's caliber, it makes football better. Whether you love him, whether you hate him, football needs TB12 while he can still play. There's nothing wrong with him coming back. I love it. I think it's great for the game. And I'm not shocked. That's the biggest answer that I have to anyone. Are you shocked that he came back? I was shocked when he retired, to be honest with you. More shocked when he retired than I was that he's coming back. And can we really call this a retirement? I think this was maybe a little bit of a disagreement with Giselle. Maybe he wanted to go to a couple events during the spring to support his family. I don't know. He just thought maybe his time was done, and then he realized, no, I'm not done. I still got a lot left. Let's keep it rolling. I'm Tom Brady. Why not? So the NFC South, you look at that division as well, and you say to yourself, the Saints are in rebuilding mode. The Falcons are in rebuilding mode. Carolina, who the hell knows what they're doing, because they don't. Tampa is hands-on, easily the pick to win the NFC South. And I think you're going to see a trade with Christian McCaffrey. There's rumors that he could be coming to Buffalo. I'll talk about that in a separate podcast video that I already have recorded. But all in all, just wrapping this up here and my take on Tom Brady's comeback. Hey, legends never die. If you still feel like you have it in the tank, why not? Why not make another run at it? Who's stopping you? Football Fan 28 says, don't forget Brady's last TD ball, quote unquote, last, as he put it, or as she put it, sold an auction yesterday for $547,000. Oops. Wow. That is money that is now valued at zero, because that is not the last. Well, technically I shouldn't say that. Maybe it has more value because it was sold at that price. I don't know. Memorabilia, that game is weird. That's a weird game to play. Nonetheless, Tom Brady is back. I'm pumped. I think that he's going to have another great season. Whether this next season now, the question now for me is this next season the last for Tom Brady? I think that's the next question. Hey, we won't count the chickens before they hatch. He's back for 2023, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Nonetheless, Tom Brady's back. Tampa Bay, Clearwater, they have to be really excited. And I'm going to see to it that I watch a game down there. I loved the town, loved the city, and I look forward to seeing how this shakes out. I'm Ryan Thomas. That is my take on Tom Brady's comeback, his unretirement from the National Football League. He's back after 40 days. Tom Brady says, hold my beer. I got one more left in me. Awesome stuff. Thanks for tuning in. And more content to come from the Thomas Take Sports Podcast.